Well, hello there, everybody. It's Michael Creasy here, the executive editor with Agent Inner Circle from agentinnercircle.com. And welcome to, fingers crossed, what I'm hoping is going to be, well, this will be the first by default because we're doing it right now, but the first in an infinite number of weekly interviews that we're going to be doing. And tentatively, I think we're calling it Celebrity Corner. I think that's the name that Alex, my business partner, and I have been throwing back and forth, Celebrity Corner. And it's going to be proudly brought to you by, let me do a ta-da, Agent Inner Circle from agentinnercircle.com. You heard me say that in the intro. So, excuse me, by all means, I'm just coughing up a hairball here because my cat was doing it. So I think it's a psychological trick that my cat's been playing on me. Check out agentinnercircle.com when you get a chance. That's our blog site. You'll find videos, templates, articles, so much content there that will make your real estate career better. And that's the focus. That's our primary focus here at Agent Inner Circle, to help you get better at this wacky business that we call real estate. And speaking of wacky, that's a perfect segue to bring on our guest. And I'm just pulling him up. He's ready here. So let me jump over. I'm going to switch screens here. This is our guest. And can you say hi there, my big friend?
Good day, everybody.
Neal, introduce yourself because I don't want to take away your thunder. Tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me on. This is cool, too. This is the first one. How awesome is this, right? And my name is Neal Mathwig. I'm a real estate agent in Madison, Wisconsin, and also the founder of the Onion Juice podcast, a real estate a podcast for real estate agents. And also I am the founder of Roundbox Coaching, a coaching program that's perfect for brand new agents, or like we like to call them, stuck agents. And so that is who I am. Yeah.
That was a mouthful there, buddy. Let's see, I'm just getting used to the control panel here. It's like a kid with a new toy. And we can do all these kind of wacky things here, switching back and forth, which, I think is kind of cool. But let's get rid of this and let's just focus on you and me for now. So, your basic, the reason we reached out or connected is you've been a subscriber to one of our products, which is Service for Life. And we'll get into that later on. And first of all, I should point out people that are listening in right now. I see, we're getting some comments already, Jason Steele, and reactions. Guys, you can actually post your questions here. And this is live, so we will get to them live time. And let me just do a shout out here for Jason. There he is. Hey, buddy, now you can see yourself. He's like everywhere. Urinal pucks, on cakes, anywhere Jason could put a sticker or something of his face, that's where he is. Dear friend of mine, thanks for being there, buddy. Anyway, let's jump back to this. So, Neal, the premise is we brought you on here because you're doing so much with agents and coaching and training right now. But let's wind that clock back, because to give you some credibility, you had to first get good at what you do. You had to learn the skills to be a successful realtor. So give us a little bit of the backstory and then bring us to where you are today.
Sure. So I started back in 2002. I was the fastest growing agent in company history. I really came out of the gates strong. I did three things, and really I had a three-pillar approach, and that's exactly what I coach today. I did a newsletter. I did for my sphere of influence, I sent a monthly newsletter. Then for my chase, I did open houses. So every weekend I sat in open houses and I became really good at open houses. And then my attraction that I did throughout most of my career was being a media company that happens to sell real estate. And so a combination of all of those, that's what's formed my coaching program, and using that three-pillar approach, the sphere of influence, the chase, and the attraction. And agent after agent that I've coached, both new and agents that have some experience, I have found that this three-pillar approach works really, really well. And with the newsletters, I started out, my first newsletter was called Mathwig Minute, and it only takes a minute to read. How catchy is that, right? And I was super excited about it. But what I had found was, as my career continued to grow, I was not staying consistent. And I feel that agents today need to have a clear plan, a clear plan that's congruent to them, so that they can stay consistent. And I had a clear plan, but I wasn't staying consistent with it because it was so daunting every month to write my newsletter. And in 2006, I looked back at the year and I had sent out 7 newsletters, or maybe it was even 6, instead of 12. And I realized there's a consistency problem. And somebody introduced me to the Service for Life newsletter, and I've been mailing it ever since, and absolutely love it. And I'd say 75% of my coaching students are using Service for Life.
Well, let me jump in here for a second. Yeah. We're getting reverb. What happened there? Oh, suddenly I'm getting stuff coming back here. We didn't have that before. Let me switch back to double screen here. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just getting an echo here. Well, again, we mentioned there'd be gremlins in the works until we get this worked out. So that just is what it is. So oh wow. Okay, well let's see if that happens when I do share screen. Are you getting an echo now?
No, I'm not getting an echo.
Okay, so let's go back to this. So when you talk about newsletter, one of the things that I hear, and I'm not trying to be biased, but people will say that print is dead. Print is dead. I don't want to bother. And I've also seen people say, yeah, I've had a newsletter. I send it out there, and it's a complete waste of money and complete waste of time. And address that for us, because you are a practicing realtor, but you're also teaching agents that are using this, and they're making money from this. So how would you dispel that myth?
Well, I would just ask them when they have attention, where is their attention? Do they have more attention when they are at the mailbox, or do they have more attention when they're on their email? See, I look at my inbox, my email inbox, as an extremely cluttered place, an extremely busy place. And in fact, Gmail helps me declutter that by putting promotional categories and social media categories. And so a lot of the emails I don't even see. Now, when I pull in my driveway every day, my routine is I park my minivan, I walk down to the end of the driveway, I grab the mail, I walk up the driveway, and I look at the items that are in the mail. There's usually 3 to 5 things. 3 of them go in the garbage can, and 2 of them come in the house with me. They sit on my kitchen table. I open it. I read it. If it's something personal, if it means something to me, I'm going to open it and read it. I'm going to leave it there for my wife to look at as well. It has a little bit of a shelf life. Now, when I get an email from somebody, I have, if you look at my emails, I think I've got like 30,000 unopened emails. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, I'm one of those guys that has that problem. And when you think about that, there's so many emails that I'm not opening, that I'm not even looking at. And also the way that Service for Life, and I'm just going to speak highly of Service for Life. I'm not I don't endorse Service for Life. I'm just a huge raving fan of it. And the thing that I love about Service for Life is that it looks homemade. It looks like I sat down and I made it. And my readers believe that I'm making this newsletter. And that's the power behind it. And that's why it gets opened, and that's why it gets read. It's not glossy, it's not shiny, it's not perfect, because people cannot relate to your perfection. And the more relatable it is, the more people open it and the more people read it. So I have just found that mix. And when you mail this consistently, people look for it every month. People read it every month. People play the trivia games. People read the brain teasers. People are active with it. And those that are not doing a newsletter and those that are saying that it doesn't work, it's because they're not doing it consistently, and it's because they're putting too much real estate information in there, and they're making it look too good and too glossy, and it makes it look like you're just slapping your name on it, and that's why it's not working. And I'm not going to sit here and say that email marketing doesn't work, because it does, but email marketing is free and takes absolutely no effort. So do it, but also put the effort in the mail and get results. And I think the mail is the most uncluttered space right now to reach a consumer. So I am all in on mail.
You've just, I want to say a mouthful, but
yeah.
Paragraph. So I'm going to wind this back a bit. So, number one, when we talk about newsletters, I'm getting that reverb. Why is that? We didn't have that before. How about now? Yeah, I'm getting this reverb happening here. Anyway, okay, so when it comes to newsletters, you hit it on the head that one, if it's too slick, too glossy, people will throw it away right away because they're already conditioned to know that this is some kind of propaganda. And I think one of the biggest mistakes agents make, and let me go back a step, I've been in real estate since 1989. So when I speak to this, it's as a realtor. If it's too slick, too glossy, people just won't read it.
Right.
But when you get something in an envelope that has a stamp on it, as you said, it creates this excitement that, oh my gosh, in this era that we live in of multimedia and everything's texted or it's scripted or some kind of template, people are just inundated with this kind of stuff. But when you see something in a card with an envelope and a stamp, it's like a call saying, hey, I thought about you. It's something personal. And instinctively, you want to open that thing and see what it is. And the other point to this newsletter, and especially what we're crafting here, and I'm not trying to, bang the drum here about Service for Life, even though I think it's pretty cool. I mean, we bought the company, for crying out loud. The real big thing about it is, as you said, it's not all about real estate.
Right.
And I think one of the mistakes that we make in the industry is we think consumers need to hear about real estate all the time. And the reality is, if they own a home already or a condo or a property, they know about real estate. Like, trust me, since that's their largest investment, they've got their ear to the news in terms of what's happening. So inundating them with more content, I don't think that's what they need, but the brain puzzles and health tips. And I look at something like the National Enquirer or Reader's Digest. They make millions of dollars every year because they're publishing the kind of content that people want to read. And I'm not talking about the scandal stuff, but like I said, the brain teasers, health tips, that's the kind of stuff that people want to read, feel good stories, that kind of stuff. And then the other nature of a really good newsletter is it taps into what we call direct response marketing. So it's not about the ego of the agent. It's a mechanism that gets people, number one, to engage with it, they're reading, but it gets them to take action and do something because there's little things in the newsletter that say, oh, by the way, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling? And It's done in such a subtle way that then they react to that. What do you say to that, Neal?
Well, yeah, the direct response is part of it. I believe that Service for Life taught me direct response and the power behind it. I used what I was learning using the Service for Life and put that onto my website. And I came up with 11 critical questions that every seller needs to ask before hiring their next realtor. And it became a great a great expired mailing campaign. Today it's kind of dead because the expired market is kind of dead. So I, but that taught me how to use that. And going back to this glossy professional look that I get, I get so many agents that will say, hey, this Service for Life sounds great. And they look at it and they say, well, I don't think that fits my brand. It's not professional looking enough for me. And that's what I just get fired up about, because the understanding that people cannot relate to your perfection is the perfection part is the reason why people don't read it. Every month I get a newsletter from my financial advisor. He's with Northwestern Mutual. I love the guy to death, and I always tell him that he needs to change this and needs to come up with something better. But Northwestern Mutual puts out this magazine, and he puts his picture in the corner, and it's all brought to you by him. Well, I know that he's just paying for that service. I don't even spend a second to look at it because there's nothing personal about it, and I can't relate to it. There's nothing in there that I'm excited to read about, and so it just goes right in the garbage. And I tell him that, it just goes right into the garbage every month. And so, but with Service for Life, people believe that I'm putting my effort into it, and they like me. They're on my sphere of influence. I don't mail this to a farm. That's something that I don't believe in doing. This is the people that I care about. These are my 300 in my personal sphere of influence database that I mail this to. And then also I put my inserts in there for whenever I have a client event, and I put on the stamp on the outside of it, invite enclosed. And I know that my open rate increases every time I do something like that and change up the envelope. Using different colored envelopes helps as well. But I get people to read it, and I get people to respond, and it's been that way since 2006, and it hasn't changed one bit throughout the.
Amazing. You know, the whole trick is getting people to read your marketing. So let's segue. I'll say one more thing here. And you brought up an interesting point. I think one of the other mistakes that we make is we'll send out a marketing piece like a newsletter to anybody and everybody with a pulse. And that's not the way to do this. There is actually a strategy behind marketing with a newsletter, and it's sending it to people that have invited it. And I'll premise that by saying these are people that you know. Within our 3-step program, we would call that our power list when you're trying to work your sphere of influence or working by referral. And the interesting thing here to remember is your power list are people that already know, like, and trust you. And that part's crucial. Know, like, and trust you. So when you send them something like a newsletter, that's one part of it, because now you're re-engaging with them. But the other part of this too is now you have a reason to follow up with a phone call. And you can ask, hey, what did you think of that article about, the 10 things to prevent a heart attack with, or, the things that you need to know, whatever those tips are. And me being a video guy, my gosh, that gives me content that I can use in a video to create a broadcast to all, again, people that I know, like, and trust. And I can send out a little video teaser. And then taking that one step further, now that's to my sphere of influence. But maybe I've got what I'll call suspects, people that I haven't really brought into that sphere yet. I can be touching them with little tips from that newsletter. And then if they're interested, I can say, by the way, if you're interested in the newsletter, reach out to me and I'll send you a complimentary copy.
Yes.
So I think that's the key. Like anything, it's a tool. Right? If I give you a shovel and you try to tune a piano with it, you're not going to have really good results. But, if you're using it to dig a garden, it's the perfect tool for the perfect job.
Right.
Yeah. So let's get out of here for a second. So we've talked about, a newsletter. We've talked about the marketing aspect of doing things. Thanks, Jason. Let me put that up there. That's this Jason guy always wants to steal the thunder. Great advice, he says. And Jason, I know that you use marketing like this too. So I get a backstory about Jason. He was in an obscure little market and started doing video, and his business exploded. And he does everything. He does custom signs. He does any type of marketing. And I say marketing, not advertising. And as a result of it, his business has exploded in this part of Ontario. So kudos to you, Jason, for doing this. What would be some of the advice that you would give? Let me rewind this for a second, because you and I were talking to this before we started the call. The marketplace right now is artificially fun. And what I mean by that is days on market, depending on where you are, probably under 30 days. And we've got the same here in Ontario, Canada. And I know across the US, it's the same thing, under 30 days, which is not a real normal marketplace. You and I know as seasoned veterans that the average time could be 120, like 3 months, 4 months was considered normal.
Right.
So my question is, agents that have gotten into the business, let's say the past year, 2 years, and have been riding this wave, kids, it's going to change, right? So you can show up right now and basically make money. If you can fog a mirror right now, basically you can make money. What would be your advice to the people now when the market does shift? Because we know it's a matter of time before it shifts and becomes normal. I'm not saying devastated, but normal. Well, you have to actually work your sphere of influence. You have to get out there. What would be like 3 takeaways?
Well, I think the first thing is that you need to have a clear plan, and you need to ignore the shiny objects. There are so many agents that will try one thing this month. They'll go to a conference, they'll listen to a podcast, and then they'll shift, and they won't stay consistent. And so build a clear plan that's congruent to you, like that works in your strengths, not in somebody else's strengths, but works in your strengths, and then stay consistent with that. Some of the agents that I coach, that I would call them the stuck agents, right? Like they've got some experience. They're just not getting to the next level. Maybe they're doing 10 to 20 transactions a year. They want to get to 30, 40 transactions. How do we get them there? Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it ends up that we need to declutter their business. They're doing too much, and they're not putting enough emphasis on the things that are making money. And they're getting distracted. They've got the shiny object syndrome, and they're doing too much. And so getting it down into a 3-pillar approach your sphere of influence, your chase, and your attraction, that really seems to get agents on the right track. And then you focus on that. My second bit of advice with this is to be working in a vision versus working in your needs. When you focus on your vision, if you have a clear plan that you're consistent with, and you focus on your vision, your needs will be met. But when you focus on your needs instead of a vision, it leads to feeling defeated. It leads to depression. It leads to you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on your results instead of your efforts. And so when you focus on a vision, you get excited. It brings creativity to your business. If you look at any visionary person, they're always looking to the future and not the present. And when you can get yourself to do that, when you focus on a vision, things will start to come together, and it'll propel your business. It'll ignite what you're doing.
Is this the same advice that you give to a newbie as you would give to a seasoned professional?
Yes. A new agent, what they struggle with is they'll spend 2 to 3 years trying to figure out what fits them best, because they've got to try everything, right? They'll sit. I remember when I was a brand new agent, I sat right next to a guy that was, I would call him a dialer, right? He Mike Ferry fan. He would dial, call FSBOs and expireds. I sat right next to him, and I thought that's what I needed to do. And in fact, that's what I was told that I needed to do. And I found that I hated it. I did it for a solid year. I was not good at it. But what I found my strength in was sitting at open houses. I did open houses. I had a top agent that gave me all of her open houses right in the town that I grew up in. I was 23 years old. I lived in the same town my entire life up to 23 years old. And I started doing open houses in that town. And people would walk in and say, "Neal, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm a realtor now." And that's how I built my business. So I stayed. I realized that, no, FSBO calling, expired calling is good for some people. It's not good for me. It's not my strength. I just don't like it. I feel yicky doing it. But what I do love is sitting in an open house and running into people that I already know. And then I also, when I was mailing my newsletter, then I started building my newsletter list. As people were walking in, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to get the old phone book out." Back then, get the old phone book out and look up their address and start mailing my newsletter to them. And that's how I built the business.
So let me just do this for a sec. Wow. I'm getting feedback again. Wow, man. We'll have to figure this one out, Neal. You're doing so good there. Anyway, it's got something to do with this template. Again, kids, I warned you in advance that we're going to have some technical issues here. But it seems that when I do this, and now I talk, no, that's not it. I thought I had to do something with the frame. Okay, well, let me just jump in here for a sec. Those of you that are just tuning in right now, I'm going one-on-one here with Neal Mathweg. He's coach, trainer, realtor, and open right now for questions. So feel free to submit questions here, and we'll do our best to answer them. This is part of an ongoing weekly series that we hope to launch with Agent Inner Circle, and it's called our Celebrity Corner. So feel free to ask your questions. And again, what we're doing, we're just trying to make 2018 your best year ever. And so far, we focused on newsletters, print advertising. Just so you know, print is not dead by any means. It's a tool. And like any tool, if you know how to use it, you'll be good at it. So let me pull Neal back on here. I didn't want to leave you out in the cold there, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good.
All right. Well, so far you're just showering us with diamonds here. Let me go back, and when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you as the coach, and what would be? Do you do like a SWOT assessment of what they need, where their business is right now, and what they need to move forward?
Yeah. Some of the questions that I ask them is like, what do they feel comfortable doing? Do they feel comfortable picking up the phone, or does that freak them out? And most coaches are just going to make you pick up the phone. And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of power in picking up the phone. But if that is not congruent with somebody and it's not who they are, like me, I proved that I could be a very successful realtor and sell 75 to 100 homes a year without picking up the phone and calling FSBOs and expireds, or picking up the phone and calling any list. And so if that's not you, I don't want to coach you to do that. because there's other ways for you to do it.
So let me jump in here for a sec, Neal. So when we talk about phone calling, I know here in Canada, we've got the do not call registry. Which I want to say partly was the biggest joke ever conceived, because our government said, okay, sign up on this registry, people won't call you. So everybody signs up on this registry, and they sold it to like a third world country that now calls everybody on their registry. I don't get that at all. But you guys in the US, you take this quite seriously, because the fines can be anywhere like from $10,000 and up, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So two things, when I think of, actually three things, when I think of phone calling, I think of Mike Ferry comes, and Mike Ferry, love him or hate him, he awesome trainer, but he's like, I'll say Brussels sprouts. Either you like it or you don't, or you try to acquire a taste for it. Right. When I think of cold calling on the phone, number one, I just think you're harassing people. And I don't ever recall my dentist or my lawyer getting on a phone and harassing me for business. Right. The second thing is, it's not a business. Because if my business is dependent upon me getting on the phone and making calls 24/7, if I ever decide that I do need to go to the dentist or I want to take a day off, I'm suddenly out of business.
Right.
So are there systems in place that you're recommending? And we do this with our 3-step program. But how do you automate your business so it's not reliant upon you? It can actually work for you?
Yeah. Pillar number 1 is sphere of influence. Pillar number 3 is your attraction pillar. Both of those are long game pillars, right? They're going to take a little bit of time before they start to produce results. You're not going to mail a newsletter and get a sale tomorrow. You might, but most likely it's going to take some time, right? If you're playing those are both long games. The short game is the chase, right? The chase is open houses. The chase is FSBOs expired. The chase is Facebook ads. The chase is maybe Zillow leads. Those are the chase, online leads. So those are the chase. Now, those are what's going to start producing results immediately. And that's why you want to chase. Because if you don't chase, you're going to starve waiting for the long game to work, right? But if you only chase, like you said, you're not running a business and you're going to burn out. The chase, anybody that I've known that is a dialer or a chaser, for the most part, they burn out and are no longer in the business because they can't maintain that. And so I want people to chase for a certain period. Maybe it's 1 or 2 or 3 years until their sphere of influence and their attraction pillar catch up and start producing results. And then you can pull the chase away.
Let me jump in here. I'm going to ask you this question, and let me just add this here as well. Again, agenda here. If people have questions after the show and they want to reach out, by all means, you can email me, michael@agentinnercircle.com, or you can email Neal if you've got questions specific for him. But we're talking about the chase. So we're looking at something from 60,000 feet looking down. Give us something specific. Like, for example, we'll use direct response postcards, and we'll target renters in a specific niche. So part of the strategy is you actually have to get onto the computer, do some research in an area that you know is selling, where there's a high turnover, and then find what are those, are the apartments, the rentals in that area. You make a list of those people because eventually you know they're going to be moving. That would be a specific laser focused target.
Right.
Do you have anything in your arsenal that you would use that's, I don't want to say, peppering an area with stuff that people don't care about, but share with us one strategy that you teach your agents that is specific that they can dial into and use today.
Sure. So what you're talking about, geo farming or a specific area is a chase. And I do have some agents that I coach that do use that. One of the qualifying things for that pillar is to see if they have the money to invest. A lot of brand new agents that come into the business are broke and they don't have the money, or they have the money maybe today, but they're not going to be able to stay consistent with it. And consistency is everything. So the most popular pillar for the chase for a brand new agent is open houses. And because there's not a large investment every month, and in a qualifying question to see if you can do open houses is, are you a part of a company that has enough open house opportunities? If you're in a 3-person company and the other 3 agents do their own open houses, that's probably not the right pillar for you. But if you're in a company that has 300 agents and every weekend there is a slew of open houses that you could do, like it was for me when I started, open houses are the way to go. Then once we get decided that open houses is your pillar, then we need to get really good at open houses. And to do that, we're looking for great call to actions at the open house. We're looking for ways to gather information from the consumer. And a lot of times, you know, like my favorite one is I have a search app that I have. And when I ask somebody how their home search is going and they tell me that they're struggling, I'll ask them how they're searching for homes, and they'll say that I'm using Zillow, and then I roll my eyes and I say, oh yes, good old Zillow. They're notorious for leaving listings out there after they're already sold, and I find the pain, and then I ask them if they've heard of the app that I have. And they always say no, and I say, well, get your phone out and let me help you get set up with that app. That's one thing. Another one is I have a lender here in town that has great first-time home buyer grant programs. He's decided that is his thing, and he's very, very knowledgeable about it. So if I'm at a starter type home and I ask somebody if they're a first-time home buyer, if they've ever bought a house before, then I ask them if they ever heard of the grants that are available now, like it's free money, and they're like, no, I've never heard of it. Well, then I hand them off to my lender. And so I'm providing value, I'm giving away value at the open houses. And so that's what I coach my agents that choose open house as their pillar. And when they choose that, they have to do 3 open houses a month, and they have to go all in. And they have to be so focused on open houses and stay so consistent with it. And every agent that I'm doing that with, they're succeeding. That's what they're focusing on.
Let me ask you then about open houses, because like anything, there's a strategy. You'll have some agents that say, you know, open houses just don't work. Yep. And getting back to the newsletter, an open house is a tool. Again, if you work the tool properly, it's going to work. I think part of it is getting out of the mindset that if you're doing an open house, it's about selling that home. The reality is it's about generating leads, buyer leads. And the one thing that I like sharing with agents that they forget is before you can move from one cave to another, man must sell first cave before can move to next cave. So at your open houses, you actually have people that are auditioning. Is that actually a word? I've just taken a literary license here. Auditioning you as a prospective realtor. They're going to open houses looking to see what you're doing. What kind of marketing are you implementing? And here's the other part too. Some people hate open houses. I'm saying from a seller's perspective, because strangers are coming through the home. They want to see how you conduct yourself, how you, security measures, if you will. Are you screening people before they come through? Are you asking them for ID? Or is it a playground where they just rummage through? So in the back of my mind, as someone who's doing an open house, I would say, remember, people are auditioning you constantly. When they come in, you don't know if that's a potential buyer. It's also a potential seller.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think whatever you focus on is what expands. If you go in to an open house looking for sellers, you'll get sellers. If you go into an open house looking for buyers, you'll get buyers. And you know, the agents that I coach that want to take their open houses to the next level, they're doing door knocking before the open house, like on a Thursday afternoon. They're inviting the neighbors to a neighbor preview only part of the open house, a half an hour before the open house is scheduled. They have all the neighbors come in. And then once the house sells, they get 5 offers and only 1 offer got accepted. That means that there's 4 buyers that are left over. They're door knocking after that and saying, hey, there's 4 buyers that missed out that are looking for this neighborhood. Are you thinking about selling? So their whole plan is around open houses. They're focused on it. And when you focus on it, you'll do great. The agent that says that open houses don't work, they're doing 1 open house every 2 or 3 months. Whenever the opportunity pops up, they're not focusing on it. They're not getting better. They're probably going to the open house and hoping that nobody comes because they just want to sit there and enjoy a Sunday afternoon, right? So they're not focused on it. And once you get focused on it, they work. They've been working for years, and they'll continue to work.
You know, it's kind of funny. my TV is better than your TV.
Right.
And that's why I'm going to an open house. And I think part of it too, when we talk about the strategy behind this, how many signs did you put up directing traffic there? What did you do in advance to promote the open house to let people know? And one of the things right now, we're using Facebook live video, the ability to take your phone, stand out front of an open house prior to, let's say, if the open house is on Saturday. Well, you're out there Thursday saying, hey, guess what? Sunday between 1 and 3, I'm going to be doing an open house here at 123 Anywhere Street. And you can do like a pan of the neighborhood in the street, do a quick walkthrough. You can be teasing people ahead of time to promote an event. And an open house, I think if you can get that into your brain that it is an event, then I think you'll have more success versus it's a chore.
Amen to that. And also, if you're a brand new agent, what an awesome opportunity for an evidence of success. If you're a brand new agent that has no listings and all of a sudden you're doing live videos in front of open houses or houses that you're going to be doing open house on, that just tells your audience that you're busy, that you're out there. And there's a ripple effect to that. I had an agent that I'm coaching with that did an open house last week, and she did a Facebook Live in front of the house, and she had 3 people and say, wow, that's a beautiful house. Congratulations on the lake listing, because it was a house on the lake. And it was like everybody thought that it was her listing. And that's awesome. And that's what you should be doing. And that's how you're going to get listings, because you're constantly marketing properties.
Well, the other thing too is, again, being a big video proponent, I'm already inside my open house. What's to say I can't take my camera, go live, and say, hey, for those of you that couldn't make it today, let me do a quick walkthrough.
Right.
And, I keep thinking, I think it was a Burger King commercial, or is it Ponderosa Steakhouse that's no longer around? But the caption went, you're selling the sizzle, not the steak. And you can do a quick walkthrough, and it can be jerky. It doesn't have to be professional video. And that's what I teach realtors. Good enough is good enough. And you don't have to do the whole home. Just focus on a couple of rooms that are really stellar. And then use that. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's take a look at this, Neal. Tell us a little bit about this.
Oh, so Roundbox Coaching is the program that I came up with. The idea behind it is to help you develop a clear plan that is congruent to you, that you stay consistent. See, most coaching programs make you fit inside of a box. And I envisioned a round box. And the round box is because the edges are round so that it allows your personality, your strengths, and your gifts. The box itself is the structure, the 3-pillar plan, where we take you through 15 different strategies and you pick 3 of them and we put them in the different categories so that you have a balanced plan. We do weekly group coaching. So with the program, you get 1 year worth of weekly group coaching, which is the community. There's just a really, really strong community around Roundbox that has, I never envisioned that happening. But it's a beautiful thing. And then there's 52 videos in the course. There's a workbook. There's all of my systems, all of the programs that I've used over the years to build what I have. And then we help you build the plan. So it's not like, here is what you're going to do. It's more like, what works for you? What are your strengths? And let's get your sphere of influence pillar, which by far the best one is service for life. Let's get you a chase pillar. Are you an open house person? Are you a Facebook person? Are you online leads? Are you better calling FSBOs and expireds? Do you want a door knock? What is your chase? And then your attraction is mainly a lot of agents elect to be media companies that happen to sell real estate. And that's what my podcast is all about. The Onion Juice podcast is about helping agents be media companies that happen to sell real estate. The attraction can be many different things. I have some agents that are doing like first-time home buyer seminars with their attraction. I have some that are doing full-on shows. For my attraction, I do a show called I Love Madison. I'm here in Madison, Wisconsin, and I have a full media company that I run a weekly show, and that attracts people to my business because of all of the people that I'm meeting. So that's Roundbox in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it, but that gives you a good idea of what Roundbox is all about.
So we get nothing out of it by endorsing you. If they want to find out more about this, where should they go?
They should go to roundboxcoaching.com, or if you're in the States, you can text the word roundbox to 44222. And when you do that, I'll send you an email that will have the business plan template, so you can see how the pillars look, and maybe start forming your business plan. So again, you can just text the word roundbox to 44222. 44222. Text the word roundbox to that number.
Perfect. Now we're offering a special what's the word I'm looking for? Ethical bribe. And again, it's being a promo through you for Service for Life. So what if you tell our audience a little bit about that?
Sure. What exactly?
You've got a coupon code for Service for Life?
Oh, yeah. I don't have that in front of me, though.
So how do they get a discount if they want to reach out to you then? What happens next?
Send me an email. That would be great. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'd have to dig in my computer what that code is. But yeah, just send me an email and I'll get that to you.
All right. And it's in the email address. Let's see if I can find that here. We'll put it up on the screen here one more time. Here we are here.
There we go. Yeah, just shoot me an email.
So if they email you there, then we'll apply a discount to it. And I can't remember how much. I think it's $10 off for the monthly.
Yeah, I don't have any of that in front of me.
Put it this way: at full price and more, it's a good deal. So we're giving you a better deal here when you reach out to Neal.
Yes.
So once again, Neal, any parting words before we sign off here?
Oh, there! Look at Alex is coming to my rescue here. There's the code.
Oh, here, let me pull it up there.
Yeah.
Everybody should have an Alex, I think.
Yes,
thanks, buddy. All right, thanks.
$7 a month. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
So I guess let's go back here. So if they email you, and where did I just put it here? So regularly it's $85 a month, and the coupon code would be this, math67.
Yes.
All right. I hope they're not thinking mathematics. That may scare them away. But the combination 67 Mustang, that was my favorite car. So maybe that's a good thing.
There you go.
67. There you go. All right, my friend. Well, like I said, before we wrap up here, anything you'd like to leave with our audience?
No, I think my well, I say no and then I start talking. My biggest advice for anybody new or that has some experience is to have a clear plan and really focus on that clear plan and focus on a vision. And when you operate in a vision, I'm telling you there's a magic thing that happens, and your needs get met when you focus on a vision. So take that, rest on that, and I think that will really help a lot of people that are listening.
Neal, I want to thank you for taking time out today and putting up with the little gremlins that we encounter. By and large, I think it worked out okay. Ford didn't produce, and Porsche didn't produce a perfect sports car out of the gate, but they've honed it and they got it down now, So that's the important thing. It's, the incremental steps towards perfection, not actually reaching that goal. And we got Brandy. Hey, Brandy, let's just show her. Brandy is one of our support. I can't call her a support person. That's not fair. Between her and Alana, they're like the two pillars that help support Agent Inner Circle, unsung heroes, if you will. So I don't want to sing because that'll offend them. But Brandy, hey, thanks for reaching out. She gave us the discount code here and also a phone number. So here on the screen that you can call. And Service for Life, I guess I should do a bit of a promotion here since it is our product. It's more than that. We stand behind it, and it's a tool that we help you implement. We actually have, strategy behind taking this thing and making money with it. It's just not a newsletter. It's a tool that will help you with your real estate success. And Brandy and Alana, they've been doing this now. I'm going to estimate it's been about 15 years. They know this inside and out. And their specialty is helping realtors implement this, and they're there to handle any questions, anything they may have. And again, Service for Life, it's a newsletter, yes, that you can send out print. We've also set it up in such a way that you can upload your database, and it'll be done by our printer. We'll send it up for you, so you don't even have to touch it. Or you can download it yourself, tweak it, and then you can print it off on your own printer, mail it. And we also have an electronic version in PDF. so you can email it. So we've covered all the food groups here. The agents that are using it, it's a powerful tool. And our average customer has probably been with us for at least 10 years. Some have been with us even longer. And when I see that, again, even at the discount here, $67 a month, this thing must be working because people aren't going to be laying out coin unless they're getting a return on their investment. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Oh, I for sure would agree.
Okay. This is the first time you're sitting quiet. I thought you would have jumped in there and said something. I can't count on you for anything, man. I should just talk to the bear. That's what I should be doing there. Neal, my friend, I want to thank you for taking time out today and continued success. I hope our paths cross again real soon. And until next time, man, happy selling and keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, thank you so much. This is such a pleasure to be on, and I love Service for Life has just changed my business. So being a part of this is really awesome. So thank you.
So I guess, kids, I'm going to shortly wrap this up. Again, it's Michael Creasy here, the executive editor with Agent Inner Circle from agentinnercircle.com. Please do check out our blog, agentinnercircle.com. It's absolutely free. Take a look. I would suggest going to the current article sections. You can see videos, templates. Everything there is geared to help you with your real estate success. And the cost to this, I hope you're sitting down. There is none. All you need to do is put in your name and email address and subscribe, and you'll be part of our Agent Inner Circle family. And as I said, everything there is free. And weekly, we send out a new video, a new success tip, coaching tip, something of value. And as you can see now, the next thing we're working on is this. We're focusing on doing what I'm calling the Celebrity Corner. And with my business partner, Alex and Alana and Brandy, I think we'll pull the bits and pieces to make this, like I said, a Porsche. Right now, we're kind of a gremlin. We just kind of got onto the highway. The wheels are turning with this Celebrity Corner thing, but I think we'll get the bugs worked out. So once again, Michael Creasy here, the executive editor with Agent Inner Circle. For all of you that tuned in today, thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy success, happy Thursday, and make it an awesome day.